Does this choice enlarge me or does it diminish me? I've asked myself that question every single day for a little over a year now, and it has totally transformed both my personal and my business life. If you don't know who I am, my name is Ravi Abuvala. I'm the founder of Scaling with Systems, where we build end-to-end marketing systems for coaches, agencies, course creators, and online service providers. I've generated well over $25 million in the past few years from my own businesses, and that money has been generated very much so because of some of the choices that I have made. And while they have not all been quote unquote the right ones, and while they have not been the most comfortable ones or the easy ones, a lot of them have enlarged me. But at the same time, a lot of them also have diminished me. And it's my experience or my personal opinion that the more decisions you can make that are enlarging you, the better your life's going to be. The more you're going to be reaching your goals faster, quicker, and setting new goals versus you making the decisions that choose to diminish you instead. And what does that mean to enlarge you and diminish you? Well, I think in reality, most people, when they're trying to make a decision, when they're thinking about something to doing, whether it's hiring a new team member, firing a current team member, getting in shape, telling a loved one something difficult, anything along those lines, even a difficult conversation they have to have with themselves or a different decision that they have to make themselves, they typically choose the easiest route, the route that is that's going to be simple, comfortable, the route that is going to make the least amount of noise, that's going to be the least different than what they're currently doing right now, right? We kind of figure out this level of standard that we like to live in, and then we just always stay there, okay? And that is, so on a day-to-day basis, if every one of us would say that we want to grow, we want to be better, then staying the same is the opposite of that, right? You're diminishing because you should be moving forward, but you're actually staying the same. And so when you're presented with a decision, or at least when I was before I started asking myself this question, I would reflect on that decision, and I would think, oh, well, I did that. I made the decision because that was what felt right. That was the gut reaction. Or, I made the decision because, I knew that was going to be more comfortable than another decision. And the funny thing about this is that those decisions that leave you feeling comfortable are the wrong decisions a lot of the time, at least in the long run. Maybe in the short run, it'll be the right decision, but in the long run, it'll be the wrong decision. And I've been able to document my journey over the past year and a half and asking myself this question because I actually journal every single morning. So I journal for about 30 minutes every morning when I wake up. And I know that a lot of people, talk bad about journaling. I could care less. For me, it's been transformative. And I'm not journaling like, I ate dinner last night and I like the sunrise, which I actually do write about that too. But I give myself prompts that I ask myself questions. Example prompts are, how did I bring myself closer to my life manifesto? So I have a life manifesto for where I want to be in 3 years. I also ask myself, what could I be eliminating, automating, or delegating to get my time back? What repeating tasks am I currently doing that I can get rid of in order to do more building than maintaining or managing? And then the third question that I ask myself is, what choices am I making that I chose to diminish myself rather than enlarge myself? So I'm literally thinking back to the day previously and thinking, where did I choose to diminish myself? Because like I said, if I can minimize the amount of decisions I'm making that are diminishing myself and maximize the amount of decisions that I'm making to enlarge myself, then I should be getting to my goals faster. And actually, I'm in my living room right now, but this is where I sit right there. There's a little glass desk right there, and I journal every single morning, and I write those things down. And sometimes it's 20 minutes, sometimes it's an hour when I'm just like, I'll just stand and kind of pace around this room, and I'll do some real deep thinking. And this kind of prompt thinking that I do journaling came from the book The Road Less Stupid by, I think it's Keith Cunningham. And he was the one that first introduced this, are you choosing to enlarge yourself versus diminish yourself? And it transformed my life because of that. And so now every decision I make, I'm putting through that framework. And I'm also putting this video out right now because, I had my family in town this past weekend. I flew them in, depending on when you're watching this video, it's Christmas right now. And I flew my family, they stayed at my place in Miami. And, there were some difficult conversations I had to have with some family members. And everyone's down here. We don't see each other, but but once, maybe twice a year in person. And it would have been so easy for me to just not say anything. It would have been it might have even been quote unquote the better decision to make because everybody was happy. We're all having a good time. I didn't want to quote unquote ruin the moments by bringing this stuff up. But there's some decisions I think in life that are better said in person. And I could have decided to not make this decision of having these harsh and difficult conversations with some of my family members. But I knew that the next day I was going to write down that choice was diminishing me. So this morning when I got up, when some of my family members were leaving, I sat them down and we had an hour and a half conversation, which ended up being really, really strong. And it's not like this is a rags to riches story where I tell you everything was great and we hugged and we never had problems again. This was just the opening of a conversation that we needed to have that we had been putting off for over 2 years now. And it felt good once it was done, but it also felt really, really bad. There was tears that were shared. And it was a super difficult conversation to have, but man, do I feel better for it. And now I feel like I'm moving forward in this relationship I have with some of my family members. And the exact same thing goes for business, right? You might be watching this video right now and you know that there are things that you need to do, right? For example, you know you need to hire somebody to help you with your marketing. You know you need to fire this person that you've had on board for weeks, months, or years, and they're not really doing their job anymore. They're just being complacent. But right? If you had to fire that person, then you'd have to, first have the difficult conversation with them. Then you'd have to go out, get a job description. You'd have to put it up. You have to go through the interview process to hire them. What if they don't work out? Maybe they're worse than the current person. So you kind of just settle because you're choosing to diminish yourself. The comfortable decision, the easy decision, that person's feelings are going to be hurt. It's Christmas time, all these things. It's like, let me justify why I need to not let this person go right now. But that would be a decision to diminish yourself versus I know this is going to be really crappy. It's going to be crappy for that person. It's going to be crappy for me, but it is the thing that needs to happen. And I'm not doing this person any favors by keeping them on board a company if I know that they're not a good fit. And, in total transparency, we've let 2 people go during this Christmas holiday season. I don't like doing that. I don't want to be a business that lets people go during the holiday times. But once again, these are the decisions that I know I need to make because it's going to take our business to the next level. And the exact same thing goes for hiring, right? You might be justifying yourself, I want to save money. I want to keep my profit margins higher because and maybe I'm the best at this thing. Let's say it's marketing because a lot of my clients are marketing-led founders. They're like, I'm the best at marketing, so let me stay in marketing. But in reality, you staying in marketing, that's because you're good at marketing. And so you're trying to keep yourself comfortable by staying in marketing because if you were to go out there and learn how to cast a vision, the company vision, the values of the company, the mission, what does the competitive landscape look like? Would you have a unique mechanism inside your company, or are you just copy and pasting everybody else? What does the future products look like? People say that you're always running 2 businesses, the business you currently have and the business that you're going to have in the future. But you can't do all of that. The organizational structure of the chart, compensation plans, right? You can't do all of that and also do marketing and sales for your company at the same time. So something's got to give. And in reality, if you're trying to call yourself the CEO of the company doesn't do the marketing of the company, right? They hire people to do the marketing for them, okay? And sure, you might want to run a lean and mean team, and I get it. We help clients build marketing systems that are incredibly, incredibly simple. But if you want to take it to the next level, you need to remove yourself from that position. And that means you're going to be paying out a hefty salary. That means that somebody might be doing the job 80% as good as you could do it if you were in that seat right there. That means that you have to go put yourself in a new position that's difficult. It's uncomfortable. It's not like you get to wake up and launch a Facebook ad and you get that short-term dopamine hit of getting something done. You're building something like a new product or a new product line that could take weeks, months, maybe even years where you're not seeing any dopamine hits, any kind of return, any positive feedback. And it's a crappy world to live in, if I'm being honest with you. But it's one that is enlarging you, right? You're learning new skill sets. You're learning how to be a true leader of the company. You're learning how to promote other people inside the company so that they can work there longer and you can get the benefits of compound interest from team members that you worked with for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years, right? And for me personally, I know that I am the best and I get the most energy when I'm building, not when I'm maintaining, not when I'm managing, but when I'm building, okay? So remember, ask yourself this question as much as humanly possible. Is this choice enlarging me or is it diminishing me? And maybe if you want to, even put it inside of some kind of journal or note-taking app or stick it on your computer screen because it's very easy. I think if you don't ask yourself this question or don't remind yourself to think of this question every single day, it's going to be very natural for you to fall back in your old habits. But once again, you choosing to not do anything right now when you're watching this video, you choosing not to go write it on a sticky note and put it on your computer, put it as your screensaver for your phone, put it on the back, the desktop for your computer, put it inside of some kind of journaling app in your journal itself, you making that choice to not do it, as long as you agree with it, I'm not saying everybody has to do what I'm saying, is because you're choosing to diminish yourself. You're choosing, I don't want to know these answers. I'm kind of comfortable the way it is. I don't want to add another thing to my morning routine, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So once again, I hope you guys found this video valuable. It's a little bit different in a new setting. And, I'm not just going into marketing or client success or sales systems. And I'm kind of just talking about this stuff because, quite frankly, I wish I had learned this so much longer ago. I would have been so much further along than where I am right now. And I'm not saying that I'm not far along and I'm upset with my progress or anything like that. But I know that now the things that I should be doing are not the things that make me comfortable. And I know that my knee-jerk reaction will always be to do the thing comfortable. So I need to shine a spotlight on those choices and not ask myself, was this the right or wrong choice? Not ask myself, was this choice comfortable or not comfortable? Not ask myself, is this choice something that was good for somebody else or bad for somebody else? But simply ask myself every single time, does this choice enlarge me or does it diminish me?